We finally hit our next big milestone over on Patreon, $750 a month. This means so much to me and helps the channel in a huge way. With support like this on Patreon, it means I don't have to rely on YouTube ad revenue as much, meaning if YouTube decides to demonetize my videos, it won't matter as much, as the support all my awesome patrons have given me to flex it. Speaking of demonetized videos, there is a certain video I know a lot of people have wanted to see on the channel, but due to the nature of the video, I've always been hesitant to make it. But now, as a celebration for hitting this huge milestone on Patreon, I finally feel confident enough to make it. So today, we are finally going to look into where swear words come from, why are these certain words considered bad and taboo, and where did a selection of these swear words come from. First off, however, a few ground rules. I'm kind of worried about making this video as I know a lot of younger people watch them, and I know they're sometimes shown in schools, because if some kid out there gets told off for swearing and says, but name explains that it was okay, then I couldn't forgive myself. But maybe that's me thinking too much of myself. Also, I'm not saying it's okay to swear, but I'm also not saying it's not okay to swear. More or less all of us swear at points in our life. I know I do. I'm not going to tell you when and where to swear, it's not my job to tell you what to do, but I will tell you when I personally use swear words. I use swear words when I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and of course in pain. In fact, it has been proven that swearing actually helps with pain, and while I do swear in frustration and anger, I never aim it specifically at someone. It's more just a blurt into the air. On the rare instances I do actually aim a swear word at someone specifically, it's a close friend and as a joke, so they know I don't really mean it. Also, there are only certain swear words I feel comfortable with saying, and it's those words I will be covering here. I never use slur words that aim out a specific race of people, and they won't be covered here. Well, actually there'll be two words I'll be talking about that I feel are aimed towards certain sexes, but more on those later. Also, I am British, remember, and here in Blighty we have a vocabulary of our own British swear words. One of those will be covered here too. So why have some words been put on a pedestal of taboo anyway? Words are weird at times. Here in English we have 26 letters. We use them to make all our words, and arranging them in certain ways is suddenly a huge no-no. Like, we can say words like hits and carp and no one would bat an eyelid, but the moment you swap some of the letters around, then suddenly it's a huge deal. Swear words can become profanity for many reasons. Some words are created solely to be bad, while other words begin innocent enough and then are used in new ways that cause them to be offensive to everyone or a select group of people. While not really a swear word, pigs is a great example of this. While innocent enough when referring to the animals, when calling a police officer a pig is deemed to be offensive, though pigs hasn't become a term offensive to all. Bitch is a good example of a word that was once innocent enough but now has become a swear word thanks to the way people have been using it. Bitch meant, and still does mean, a female dog. In the same way many animals have different names for the different sexes of the animal. Hen and rooster, mare and stallion, and so on. You will hear bitch used in its proper definition all over the place, from dog shows to veterinarians. It's thought to come from Old Norse, meaning female of the dog, and from being used as the correct term for a female dog, the name has been applied to women in a derogatory sense. As I mentioned, two words we'll be covering today seem to be aimed at specific sexes, and bitch is one of them, though men can be called bitches too, and it can be adapted to son of a bitch to be aimed at men directly. Bitch is an interesting word as it's really evolved over time, from being a flat out derogative word to a name that more people are wearing with pride. Many people now seem to enjoy calling themselves a bitch, however it does still remain a swear word. In fact, just calling someone a dog is considered offensive to some, which I don't understand as dogs are awesome. I've often felt that the male equivalent of bitch is bastard, not because it's the name of a male dog, it isn't, but because bitch is usually used for women and bastard for men. Though in its traditional roots, bastard can be used for men and women, and they both begin with B of course. Traditionally, bastard was the name for a child born out of wedlock, but over time has become a more general use swear word. Bastard actually has a quite literal etymology, coming from the French fils de bast, which means pack saddle son, which implies that the child was conceived on a pack saddle. Horse saddles were often used as improvised beds while out in the wilderness, so a child conceived on a saddle as opposed to a traditional bed would be considered far away from the tradition of a married man and woman conceiving a child in the bedroom. Crap is a word that seems to have seriously gone down in profanity. I think many people don't even see crap as a swear word these days. A lot of people seem to think that crap comes from Thomas Crapper, who while didn't invent the toilet made a big leap in the world of toilets. He stuck his name on all his toilets and helped the word crap become synonymous with human waste. But we have records of the word crap being written down before Thomas Crapper was even born. It's believed to ultimately come from the medieval Latin crapper, meaning chaff, the name of the casing that grain is in. A very British swear word is wanker. Wanker is a noun derivation of the verb wank, which means masturbation. Though aside from this being a noun form of wank, we aren't too sure where exactly the word comes from. One source said that it may be an onomatopoeic word relating to the sound what occurs when masturbating. How on earth did I end up talking about this again? You may have heard that shit comes from the acronym ship/store high in transit, relating to when cow manure was moved by boat, and when it got smelly it would be placed high up so sailors would avoid the smell. As funny as this idea is, it seems to be a completely false etymology, simply made up as a fun story and spread around. It's safe to say that this etymology of shit is, well, bullshit, a variation of the word shit we use when we think someone is lying. The word shit in its current form can be traced all the way back to the 1700s, however it traces even further back to the word seitan, which goes further back to the Indo-European ski, which meant to cut or split, and it's also the root for things like signs and shield too. Finally, we have fuck, which is one of the most versatile words in the English language, being able to be used as a verb, a noun and an adjective. Like shit, there's also a bogus etymology for fuck too, with it being spread that fuck stood for fornication under consent of the king. It's hard to trace where exactly fuck comes from. One idea is that it came to the English language from the Norse fokker, which means strike/push. Another idea is that it comes from the Old English fake, which means to move relentlessly, and the German ficken, meaning to make quick movements to and fro. It's also where flick comes from, which is too a quite to and fro movement. All of these etymologies for fuck are logical enough. Despite its many variations, fuck ultimately refers to the act of reproduction, something that involves quite a lot of to and fro movement. I think that's all the swear words I feel comfortable saying in front of you guys. So first off, sorry mum, the patrons made me do it. Please don't show Nan this video. And secondly, thank you to all my patrons who love Name Explain enough to support the channel financially each and every month. I wouldn't be making this video if it weren't for all you amazing people. The next step on Patreon is when we hit $1,000 a month. At this point, I'll finally make a video explaining how each state in the USA got its name and nickname. So if you want to see that video, then please consider donating on Patreon. Even just $1 gets you weekly Name Explain extras. But for now, my next video will be out on Tuesday, so I guess I'll see you next No, I can't bring myself to cover that one. As I mentioned, thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Name Explain really does depend on small monthly donations from fans like you to help keep the channel running. Just a small amount of $2 a month helps out in a huge way, grants you patron exclusive Name Explain extras, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you.